Yeah.
Okay,
So
well, you edit it anyway, right?
yeah, I'm gonna edit the beginning, and then I have to line up because I left the cord for my mic at home. Don't know how, but I'm going to have to. Live there, and then just keep this mic. Just keep it like right there is probably perfect. Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Starting in 5 time. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, what's going on, Joe? Welcome to the Part of the Culture podcast. I have my buddy Joe here, and we're just going to be talking about financial literacy, finances, all types of stuff. Just really the financial world in general, just the main goal to add value. So let me introduce a good friend of mine, Joe. I've known him for years. He's seen me since I was a little young punk kid. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great. That's funny, young punk kid. No, you've always been working hard. You've always been hustling, but always good energy.
Thank you. Yeah, that comes from my mother. Shout out to my mom. She always had a good presence. So me and Joe have done fashion projects together, and he's always, since I've known him, been in the financial sector, and we've always maintained a friendship for years and years and years. And so he kind of reached out and said, hey, he wants to do the podcast because it's Financial Literacy Month. So I'm just going to ask, why did you want to do the podcast this month? What is the one thing or the few things that you want people to take from this?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come out to our office and see what we have going. We're really excited about being able to help families. And the one reason I want to do a podcast, or you were asking me a little bit like what we've been doing the last 7 years that I've been in the financial service side, is I want to help people. I want to give value. I want people to know that there's tools out there, and that's kind of our big thing. Is really just trying to let everybody know that it doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter where you're at, everybody has access. And April is Financial Literacy Month.
Okay.
And we have a actual problem in the U.S. where people are actually, instead of it being Financial Literacy Month, a lot of people are financially illiterate.
Yes, I would agree.
And it's at no fault of them, because one thing we find in life is that we know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely have, because I have my clothing business, which is my main business. It funds a lot of the stuff that I do, probably pay for this equipment. But I wanted to start a business that would go hand in hand with my clothing business, so I started an education business. And I just wanted to educate people on the importance of a side hustle. And the more I hone in on my goal, it's really to help people become financially free. And then I've been honing in even more on that, and it's like, why do I want people to become financially free? And it's so that they can do things of value to this world and really help people, because it's very hard to help people if you're worried about money. And once you can kind of get that money equation out of the way, then it's a lot easier to now help out the next person.
Exactly. Like, how can you help other people if you can't help yourself, right?
Yeah, true. Just gonna fix this one.
Cool. Cool. All right, mic check. But yeah, think about that. A lot of people, they want to go out, they want to save the world, they want to help a lot of people, but in the end, if their finances aren't in order, all it takes is one life event, and next thing you know, you're trying to make up years, or shoot, who knows how long it takes people to recover, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
Ask the people in 2008 who lost their homes, right? Due to the housing market. Ask the people in 2001, the dot-com bust, right?
Yeah.
There's a documentary out that everybody should watch. It came out in 2013, and it was the PBS did a thing called the Retirement Gamble.
Yeah.
And it actually has an example there of somebody having almost $1 million in their retirement in 2001.
Yeah.
And it went down to $500,000.
Wow.
Right? And, every time I watch that documentary, it just reminds us how, are we, do we have a backup plan?
Yeah.
Are we paying ourselves? I know you talked about that recently about paying yourself first.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, because if you pay yourself first and you get your money working for you, then guess what? In time, you'll be able to have money available to go help more people.
So I want to go into that principle first, but I think that's honestly a foundation of financial literacy, and it is the idea of paying yourself first, just so we don't skip over that. And I'll kind of explain it, and you can kind of go into a little bit deeper. But what paying yourself is if I close a business deal, I don't pay all my bills and then whatever's left over save. So for example, if I make $100 off of a deal, I instantly, when I first started, I do more now, I'll tell you what I do now, but you want to do what you can do first, even if it's 1% of your money, start with whatever, but the goal is to do at least 10%. So what I would do is I would take 10% and you just put it in a savings account with the goal of that money to be either invested in a vehicle, any vehicle that's going to put money into assets, vehicles that put money into your pocket. So an asset could be even a savings account, even though it's 0.1%, that's still putting money in your account. You have stocks, you have bonds, you have mutual funds, you have index funds, you have real estate. You're investing you're paying yourself 10% so that you can invest in those things, so that 10% can grow and eventually you do not have to work. But a lot of people, what they do is they pay everybody else and they never have money left over at the end of the month. So what you do is you pay yourself first, and it almost guarantees that you're going to have money. I would read Rich Dad Poor Dad because I know a lot of people are like, I don't have enough money now, and there is solutions to that, and we can get into that. But I wanted Joe to see if he can elaborate, and I hope that makes sense. But always pay yourself first before you pay anybody else, and that will feel good. Another good reference for that is The Richest Man in Babylon. But go ahead. What do you think about the pay yourself first?
Well, first of all, great references there. I could go on and on about Rich Dad Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, great books. If you Think and Grow Rich,
great books.
All great books. But the principle is the same, which is you want to pay yourself first, because the thing is that right now in America, I don't know if I think we talked about this before, we have a retirement crisis happening.
Okay.
Right? And that's what I'm passionate about. I'm 43 years old. I'm in between, the Generation X. We have the baby boomers to my right, all these people retiring, and on my left we have all these millennials, right?
Yeah.
And right now, guess what? The millennials outnumber the baby boomers.
Oh wow!
Right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So right now there's 70 million, baby boomers. There's already over 84 millennials.
Okay. Wow.
Is what they say. But the thing about it is that it's two different ways of people were basically raised on money.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, the millennials, they have information at their hands like no other generation ever. Right? But they need to be watching, all these people retiring, and that's what I do, is to kind of show them that, hey, if they're having troubles right now, why are you following the same thing when there's new ways to learn about money?
Okay.
Right? And then that's our goal, is to really educate people and come from a non-biased approach, right? And so if you think about saving, then all these people who are just retiring, guess what they did? They had to work 30, 40 years of their life. Yeah. Right? So imagine if you just took 12 months of your life, you saved $50 a week. That's $200 a month. Yeah. That's $2,400 a year. Yeah. Right? That's $2,400, right? So after year one, if you just learned how to just do that first, you have $2,400 to now learn how to make that money double. Yeah. Right? Because if you put it in the bank, it's not really going to grow.
It's definitely not going to double.
But you also got to build discipline to make that happen.
Yes.
Now, people say that they're learning those principles, but the thing is, a little bit about me before so for people who don't know me, I'm adopted from Brazil.
I didn't know that.
I grew up in Eugene, Oregon. My dad is an entrepreneur. When I was maybe 11 years old, he came home, left his job as a machinist, and he came home, put his lunchbox on the table and said, hey, I'm going to start my own business. He started with one machine in our backyard, and he built this big company, and
I didn't know
he provided a life. He provided a life for us. In the meantime, I'm from another country, so I was told, go to school, get good grades. I did those things. I was an elite judo player at the age of 15. I got to be on the U.S. Junior Olympic team and travel, and I got a partial funding to come to San Jose State. San Jose State has one of the best judo teams in the U.S.
I didn't know that.
That's how I landed in San Jose State.
I don't even know what judo is. What is judo?
Judo is like jiu-jitsu, except it's without the leg locks, and it's a little bit more throwing, and it's an Olympic sport. And I got to go to the Olympic trials, 96 Olympic trials, and got to travel, and just it's provided me. It's my basis, made me who I am.
That's cool.
And but I also got a degree, right?
That's
so
cool.
After I got my first degree, I ended up part of the .com problems. So I had to go back to school. Got to get a master's in healthcare administration.
Okay.
I worked 13 years in the healthcare industry, and in 2011, my dad retired. And I looked at his life as an entrepreneur versus my life already 13 years working for somebody else. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, hey, you know what? I'm really proud of you. You're my hero. Glad that you're going to have this great life in retirement. But what would be your big advice for me?
Yeah.
And my dad gave me one advice that I've just been sharing now with everybody. And that is, he said, you got to start learning to think like a business owner.
Wow.
He goes, where you live in Silicon Valley, it's all about startups and .com and stock options. He goes, but that's all your work. All your investments right now are at the hospital.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we talk about paying ourselves first. Well, if you have a company sponsored plan, that's coming out of your check.
Yeah.
And you're learning how to do that, which is good.
It is good.
But guess what? Business owners, they go have to find stuff on their own.
Yes.
So we have to remember that corporations and when you work for somebody, the business owner provides the benefits.
Yeah.
Right? But doesn't mean that they're also doing that as well. They might be doing other things.
Yeah.
So all I learned was how to not have all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And that's how I was introduced to financial services.
Okay,
right?
cool.
And so just from me learning that, it was like the blinders came off, and I wanted to start helping people learn what I learned, which was I thought I was paying myself, but it didn't really make sense these first 13 years, because I used to have $200 a paycheck coming out, right? I get paid every 2 weeks when I was in the medical field, and when I started adding up the money I had after riding the wave, wait a second, I put this much money in. It's all about luck. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was the victim of graduating San Jose State, and guess what was happening? I'm thinking, I'm about to go make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, .com was going down.
Yeah.
So I got into my career, and guess what happened? A year and a half in, they cut my hours.
Wow.
So imagine if
that happened to my mom.
Yeah. So imagine if that was happening. Guess what else was happening? That means that the savings that I was putting into wasn't doing good at that time either. So I didn't even understand that.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what Financial Literacy Month is all about. Right now, out of the 50 states in the United States, guess what? Not even a half of them require financial literacy at a high school level.
No, who does? Like, I'm gonna be transparent. Like, no one requires. Like, who requires it? No one talks about it. No one. This is rare. This is honestly rare. Like, everyone talks about, and I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit, but we glorify the craziest stuff. Like, we glorify Louis V, we glorify Gucci. Nothing is wrong with that, but it's not the only thing. And I had an example of where I wanted a Louis V backpack, and this is a true story, and I'm not a financial advisor, he is, but this is a true story. I wanted a Louis V backpack. The backpack was $2,000. From Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I recommend everyone read. I actually did a whole video on it, which I have to release. He said, instead of buying what you want, invest that money and then take the profits from that investment and buy what you want, and you'll still have the investment. So right now, I bought, I don't know how long ago, I will say 3 to 6 months ago, I don't know the exact time frame, I bought 2,000 stocks in Louis V. It actually educated me because Louis V owns Moet, Hennessy, but no one talks about this. And so now, that Louis V stock, I bought it at $62. And who knows, it could have went down, anything could have happened. But I said, let me invest in it, and it pays me a dividend. So 4 times a year, I get paid I get about 78 cents to $1 per every share I own. So it pays me. My backpack would never pay me. The second thing that happens is it's gone up. So right now, if you look at, it's LVMHU or something like that, but it's a Louis Vuitton stock. It went from $62, it's at like $76. So my money increased. I think I made I made about $400 off of the growth of it, and I got paid, if it's been 6 months, I got paid twice off of that stock. So instead, the backpack, if I would have bought it, it would have paid me not a dime. and it would have, if I would have tried to resell it, I would have only got maybe $1,000 for it, maybe, and so I would have lost half my money. Now I have $400 towards another backpack, and if once it reaches my goal of $2,000, I'm pretty much, God willing, going to get a free backpack, and I'm going to still have the stock. But no one talks like that. That's why the book Rich Dad Poor Dad is so important, and that's why financial literacy is so important, is because by knowing, it changes what you do. And so that's why I have this show, is so that I can change what people do and change their habits. But I just wanted to tell, change the conversation about what we glorify. And you do need to think like a business owner. This is how investors think. This is how business owners think. I could go on and on about that, but I just want to go off on a tangent on, the topic of investing.
I love the fact that you're learning that and you're applying it. One thing I love about you, and why I wanted to team up with you is also too, is that you're learning and you're sharing what you're learning as you go, which is very important, but also you're applying it right away. Because see, what a lot of things happen in life is that, right now we're in an information age.
Yeah.
So I also feel like a lot of people are there's almost so much information that they're just I would say they're kind of like, like when you're swimming, but you're like treading water.
Yeah.
So you're just treading in this knowledge. But you're not moving.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes we need associations, and we need to be part of groups and movements that kind of gets that wave moving, right? Because if you're in the ocean and there's no current, no way to move you, you're just sitting there going, I got all these ideas, but I can't really get them moved. So associations and being around a movement of whether it's financial literacy, marketing, school, whatever that does, that's what lifts you and creates that momentum, right? To get you go where you need to go. And so that's what our company is about. A little bit like some of you guys who might see us online, WFG, right? A lot of people always ask, what's WFG, right?
Yeah.
Well, WFG is a platform for financial professionals.
Yes.
Right? So all it is a platform. So if you've ever heard of companies like, Pacific Life, Nationwide, Transamerica, Voya, like all these, Athene. Did you know that right now Athene, one of the providers we have, they just rolled over the whole company for Lockheed Martin. Their pension. Yeah, $800 million pension, I believe. And that's one of our providers, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is, instead of us coming and just representing, a company, we're just a platform. So we have people to help with wills, trust. We just had a state attorney here teaching a bunch of people yesterday about how wills and trusts actually work and how they talk together.
Yeah.
And then about avoiding probate. Learned a lot right there that actually a lot of people actually need to learn to have a trust.
Yeah.
Right? So all these things. So we're just a platform to do that. So instead of us focusing on, one thing or whatever, you could sit with somebody and really, sit with somebody who's going to help you, educate you.
Yes.
So that's what we do here, and then we help train everybody else, because a little bit in terms of our goals, like if there's value, is that right now,